My goodness, have you read the news lately? I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff that's going on around our world. But you know, I've got some news, and it really happened probably over 2,000 years ago, which I believe relates to today. You know, someone said that if we don't look at history and understand it, we'll be sure to repeat it. And I think we're repeating it. The Bible tells us in 1 Samuel about two groups of people, two nations that were squabbling, hollering at one another, calling each other names. And it said that the Israelites on one mountain and the Philistines on another mountain, for 40 days they put their armies together with their politicians and everyone, and there was a lot of rhetoric. And one would say something about the other, and the other would say something about him. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. 40 days, they just stood up and hollered at one another. And nobody wanted to do anything because this giant in the other land, he said, boy, you don't want to mess with me. I got all kind of stuff. I can do some stuff you can't imagine. But anyway, the Israelites, there was a young man. He was the runt of a family with he had 7 brothers. And he's out tending sheep. We know him. He's David. And anyway, his father calls him in and said, I want you to go to the battle line. Your brothers are out there fighting, and I want to take some cheese and bread to him. And so it said David left what he was doing. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a politician. He was outside of the loop, so to speak. And so his dad gave him the cheese and the bread, and he goes off to the battlefield. And he gets there, and he finds his brothers, and he said, hey, what's going on? And the brothers said, oh, well, we're just sitting here doing what we've always done. This is what we do as soldiers and politicians. We're just sitting here hollering at one another, and that's how you get things done. And about that time, this Philistine giant, Goliath, comes out and starts cursing Israel and talking about the God of Israel. Well, everybody kind of shudders and shook because that's what he did every day. And the giant even said, I'm going to destroy you, and send me someone to fight me. Send me someone that's got some stamina. Send someone and we'll fight. And if I beat him, then you'll be my slaves. But if he were to beat me, then we'll be your slaves. And not one of those soldiers or politicians stood up against this giant. But David's there, a young boy, and he said, isn't there a cause? Why are we allowing this to happen? Isn't there a cause? He said, let me go take care of him. He said, the same God that beat that bear and that lion, that same God will help me kill this giant over there. Well, King Saul heard about it, and so King Saul said, young man, you can't do anything. You're just a runt. David said, no, I can take care of this. They see, I'm not a politician, and I'm not a soldier. I'm outside the loop. And so they said, well, let us put on our armor on you. Put on all this heavy stuff. That's what we've always used in the past. And David said, no, I'm not going to, the past, no. I got what I need to go slay that giant. And so anyway, David starts talking to the giant. The giant says, you run, I'm going to just eat you up. But this young man said, no, I got you. And so it said he started running towards him, which was a slingshot in a rock, and hit him right between the head. And he died. David took his sword and cut his head off. And it said the enemies of Goliath fled and Israel won. That's happened over 2,000 years ago, but do you see any similarities today that's going on? People are just hollering, status quo, soldiers, politicians, well, that's not the way we do it. You got to be one of us to know how to do this. But someone from the outside came up, little old David, just a sheep herder, very prosperous, very loyal, and committed to doing what he was doing. But one man stood up and said, is there not a cause? And all the people around him, when Goliath was hollering and when David made these statements, they're saying, oh, your rhetoric is terrible. Don't make him mad. If you make him mad, he might do something against us. David said what was true. He said, is there not a cause? Is there not a reason? See, I'm not acting like all you soldiers and all you politicians. This is what needs to be done. The same God that delivered me in all of my upbringing is the same God that's with me now and is going to take care of this issue. Hey, I hope this makes sense to you. It does to me. There is a cause, and we will win in the end. God bless.